So, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining. This is a pretty impromptu stream. I thought I would jump on here and say hello to everybody. Normally, when I go live on YouTube, I have some news update or information about what's going on with East Grinstead Town Council or some sort of development in the ex-Scientology world. But today is a little bit different. I am taking a little bit of time. I don't exactly have an update for you, but I'm taking a little bit of time for myself to say it's my birthday, and I thought I would jump on here and do a bit of a Q&A, a little question and answer with you guys, say hello to you all, and say, look, I don't have an update today, but let's have a little bit of a review of how the last year has gone. I did a live stream this time last year on my birthday, when I turned 29 years old, reviewing what had happened in the year gone past. And I thought it's a nice little tradition. So let's do this every year. So I'm coming in here live now on my birthday, now turning 30 years old, to review what's happened in the last year and talk about what's happened, how things have changed, how things have developed, and just have a bit of a chill stream with you guys. So thank you so much for joining, everybody. Hello and welcome. It's definitely a little bit scary to think I am no longer in my 20s. I am now officially 30 years old, which hasn't quite sunk in yet. Look, I'm the youngest ex-Scientologist speaking out on YouTube at the moment. There are definitely streamers and protesters out there who are live on TikTok and YouTube and so on, protesting Scientology all day, every day. But of the very small crew of ex-Scientologists who are speaking out, I'm the youngest one. And I've just turned 30, which in itself is just wild to think. And it just goes to show how long it takes for you to A, come to terms with leaving, B, come to terms with the experience that you had when you're in Scientology, and then get to the point where you want to speak out about it publicly. There are definitely people younger than me who I've been speaking to behind the scenes who have had experiences in Scientology that want to share their story, but perhaps don't want to do so publicly. I'm not the youngest person who's been in Scientology. I'm not the youngest victim of abuse in Scientology, but I'm certainly the youngest person who is speaking out in a sort of prolific, kind of prominent way on Scientology, on YouTube, about Scientology. And so I don't take that lightly, and I think it's really important to be as much of a voice as possible for the younger generation, people who, even though I wasn't raised in Scientology, I was still a child when I was in Scientology, but I joined. I was first generation, but I want to do as much as I can to be a voice for people who were raised in Scientology, second generation, third generation, people who had no choice whatsoever, and do what I can to raise awareness about the abuse that is going on inside this so-called church here in the UK. And I'm doing as much as I can. And I thought it'd be nice for my birthday to reflect a little bit on the year that's gone past and what's to come in the future. So let's say hello to everybody in the chat. I've starred some of your comments so far. Sue Denim is here. Happy birthday, Alex. Thank you, Sue. Thank you. I appreciate that. T, Perth Scientology Audit is here. Happy birthday, mate. Lots of love from down under. I appreciate that. And also, look, this is a little bit different from my normal streams. Normally, I come in here with a story or with news or with an update. This is a lot more laid back, a lot more chill. I don't have a particular update or news to bring to you. I just thought it would be nice to connect with you guys, answer your questions, talk to you a bit one-to-one. So if you have questions for me, send them my way. I also want to invite people to join me here on StreamYard. Now, I've not done this before, so this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go fantastic or it's going to go terribly wrong. But if you want to join me here on this live stream and talk to me on camera with the world watching, here's the link. Please join me on StreamYard. I would love to have some face-to-face interactions with you, my supporters, my subscribers, the people who have been watching this channel, I invite you to come and join this live stream for a little bit. I'll be on for about an hour, I suppose. If you want to drop in, say hello, and then leave, or if you want to have a little in-depth conversation, that's cool. The floor is open. So I've just posted the link to the StreamYard in the chat. You don't have to download anything. You just have to click the link and then accept the permissions for your microphone and your camera. You can join the StreamYard. You don't have to have an account. And you can jump in with me and you can say hello and you can talk for a little bit and we can have a little bit of a conversation. So I want to open this up to everyone. So please do join if you want to. But obviously no pressure if you don't want to. Linda P. Golan is here. Big happy birthday, apostate Alex. Thank you so much for all of those birthday cakes. Sweet Liberty is saying, wishing you a very happy birthday. Thank you. Laura FM in the house. Hey, Laura. Laura, if you're still watching this, jump in the StreamYard. I'd love to have you here. Come and join and say hello. It'll be great to have you. Thank you so much. We have a guest already joining on the StreamYard link. I can see that you have joined, but I cannot see your camera. So please allow your camera and then I can add you in to the stream. In the meantime, Diana Cryer is here with the birthday cakes. Thank you so much. D. Williams, happy birthday, Alex. Thank you. Coffee first, always. Happy birthday, Alex. Thank you so much. Cindy and Rico says happy birthday. Thank you. Got so many wishes. The person who's just joined, I don't want you. Oh, here we go. Okay, we've got one person with a camera. So there's two people in the waiting room. One of them joined but hasn't allowed their camera. So if you want to allow your camera, we'll add you on. But in the meantime, let's add this first person who I can see there, Mary Kay London.
Hi, how are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for
Why
joining.
are you up so late there?
Well, it's my birthday, so I've been out seeing friends and stuff, and I thought, look, I can't. Last year I did a birthday stream, and I thought I have to do one this year, so it'd be good to get some people on. It's good to see a face to the name. You're such a big supporter. I see you in the chat all the time.
I try. I'm retired, so if I see you on during the day, I can jump on real quick. So, much to my husband's chagrin, he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Alex is on."
Well, thank you so much for joining. And I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
all of your support. I see you quite frequently in the chats.
Yes. I try to be supportive, especially. I'm very. I'm also very proud of what you do over there on the other side of the pond from me. But I wish more people on this side would behave like you do.
It's difficult. American culture is very different to English culture.
Yeah, I know, but they should know better.
Well, look, I always say this, right? There's no right or wrong way to protest. Everyone contributes in their own way. And I think there's a big difference between UK, European culture and American culture. Like, for example, if I was to live stream outside of a Scientology org in London, for example, every single day, you know, if I was there 3 or 4 days in a row, they could arrest me and get me for harassment, because in UK law, if you appear more than 3 times outside a place, then that could be considered harassment. So it's really difficult to kind of position yourself in that law. Whereas in the US, I can imagine, you know, people get away with it a lot more because you have a
Yeah.
right to stream outside. So the laws are different. So you've got to be careful.
Yeah, you have like different stalking laws too. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And in California is different from the rest of the country, because in California paparazzi is such a big business. And even in
Yeah.
New York, it's a big business, paparazzi. So, you know, the laws are just different. And a lot of times they look the other way too.
Yeah.
Where they are. Albie, stop. My dog is barking.
So
My dog
where
is
in the world are
barking.
you joining us from at the moment? In America, I'm guessing.
Excuse me?
Where in the world are you joining us from at the moment? I'm guessing
Oh,
America.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Amazing. Where Breaking Bad was filmed from?
Excuse me?
Breaking Bad
Where's
on
my
Netflix.
what?
Breaking Bad on Netflix was
Oh yeah,
filmed in
that's where
Albuquerque.
I'm only living here 7 years. I'm originally from New York area.
Amazing.
New York City area. So um, I worked in the city for like 20 years, and then we moved out here. So yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So it's it's a different culture out here. Let's just put it that way.
I
Coming from
bet.
the East Coast to here, it's like I'm used to a very fast pace. Like rush, rush, rush. Here,
Yeah,
it's like no, slow down. You don't have to go that fast, and sometimes it's like, all right.
I get
It's a
it
different culture. It's a different culture,
for sure. Well,
but
now,
it's better weather.
oh, and always better than the UK for sure, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Well,
mean, I grew up in, like I said, New York, New Jersey, and the winter and the snow and the cold, and it gets cold here, but not like that. Not like back home.
well, Mary, I've got two people in the
I'll let you
waiting
go.
room
Happy
ready
birthday.
to
Just
join
wanted to say
next.
happy birthday.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say to everybody watching the stream before you jump off?
I'm I don't look my best, but I hope everyone now knows what I sound like and what I look like. But I want you to have a great birthday. You deserve it. You do wonderful work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But also, it's really important to highlight that, I couldn't do this without the support of people like you, everyone in the chat. It's really
Yes.
important that we're here as a community. So thank you.
You're
But look,
welcome.
it's
And have a
everybody,
great
right?
day.
Thank
Great
you,
night.
Mary. I'll
Bye
see you
bye.
soon. All right. And before we bring the next person on, I just want to bring this live chat up here from Laura FM. Laura, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Alex. Here's for one smart drink. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate the super chat. And next up, Linda P. Golan. Thank you for waiting.
Finally, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm
And
saying finally because Alex, I feel like I've been meaning to talk to you for 2 years. And I just want that. So hello to everyone in the chat. Just in case you guys have seen me a lot in the chat, my name is Linda Golan, like the Heights. Everybody gets it wrong. It's nothing new, Alex. Don't feel bad. And I'm one of the more vocal never ends and a very proud supporter of yours. And I just want to tell you the happiest of birthdays. So proud of you. You've come so far. I remember just seeing you in the chat, reaching out to, the others and how you've blossomed. And, I've been the one who's saying, I hope whatever comes out that you do go back in education and maybe go into your studies and become a lecturer, professor, and all that. And, my background is actually financial aid in the States. That's what I do for a living. So I'm always
wow.
very encouraged when I see someone like you, don't stop because you are so good at presentation, how you represent yourself. And if it's not, education, maybe a career in politics, it's not the worst thing in the world, Alex.
Trust me, Linda,
So,
you're not the first person to think. Like, so many people have said, Alex, you should be a politician. You
yeah,
should run for like politics. And look,
yeah,
I appreciate that and I love that. I get it, it's a compliment, but also like the world of politics there's so many things to navigate and people
yeah,
to, please
yeah.
and talk to and all that. I can totally see why people think I would be good in that world. But it's
But I'm
just
saying it from my own. But I'm saying it from my own background. My degree is in political science,
right.
and also I did study briefly at Oxford.
Did you?
And yeah, I've been on your side of the water before. When I was younger than you in an undergrad, I did a summer in British politics and economics. I was based at Corpus Christi in Oxford.
Wow.
And lived to talk about it. And it's helped me so much because a degree in politics goes nowhere unless you have a lot of powerful people that back you, money or family connections. And I had neither. So I had to go get a real job in the real world. And that's long story short, I've been in financial aid for over 20 years now. So
Wow.
that's one of those things I've meant to say to Claire and the gang. If anybody needs any advice on it, or anybody here needs advice on going to school and what financial aid's about. But right now, I don't know if you're aware, Department of Education in the United States is going through some shocks right now. So we don't know exactly. But while it's still there, everybody, if you're going to go back to school and get some aid, don't stop, go do it. So that's my platform, and I'll step aside and let you carry on, Alex.
A lot of people have suggested. So before I joined Scientology, the plan was to become a lawyer, right? And I had an offer from a top legal firm in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, because my initial degree was history, and I did a year and decided it wasn't for me. I was on staff in Scientology at that point in time, so I ended up not finishing that degree. When I left Scientology, I went back to uni and I got my degree in fashion marketing. But at that time, the idea was to do my history degree and then convert to law. And I had an offer to be a commercial litigation lawyer, essentially. And I really loved that. The idea of like standing up for people's rights and fighting for what you believe in, and ethics and justice and all of that, that really got me going. And when I signed up to staff at London Org, the deal was I got an offer from OSA. They said, look, we have a whole legal department. As I'm sure you can imagine, Scientology have lots of lawsuits. So if you sign this 2.5-year contract, you can work for us and we'll put you in the legal department. So you'll get legal experience that you can then take to become a lawyer when you finish your contract. And I was like, great, sign me up. And then as soon as I signed my contract, I was posted in Div 6, which is the sales aspect, recruitment, nothing to do with legal whatsoever. Right. And then lost that dream. But so many people have said to me, Alex, you should like go back and study law and become a lawyer and do that. And I love the idea. And I think this is what I pull through with everything I do with the activism stuff is fighting for what's right and justice and ethics and all of that. And I think that's something that you can never take away from me. So many people have said, Alex, you should be a lawyer or a politician or something. It's so different to what I'm actually doing in my life, but it's something I'm open to.
I wouldn't say it's different. It seems to be running as a corollary for you, Alex, because right now, the way you look at it, unfortunately, the term is you are going for social justice right now because of the wrongs that were done on you and others. So look at it as this is just another route on a similar highway or, it's motorway, as you guys would say. So, because, I'm always in the chat going, that's British for this.
I love that. Well, Linda, I want to ask, sure. what is it that, if you don't mind sharing, what is it that brought you to, not just my live stream, but the whole this universe of ex-Scientologists and so on?
I pretty much for the past, I hate to say how many years, I pretty much live on YouTube when I'm not at work.
Right.
And I think unfortunately, or fortunately, when Aaron was originally running for city council in Clearwater, I started paying attention. And I was amazed that somebody had come out in Clearwater against Scientology. And then I had tuned back in to see that he had lost the election. And then everybody started, he was starting channels good or bad with a lot of people. And when this, fracture happened, about 2 years ago, I stuck with the people who were not, as you were one in the Headleys and some of the others, and of course our beloved Mike Rinder. I stuck with those. And I think I was just, it goes back many years. I think the first time I actually heard of Scientology was we have one of those news programs on one of our networks called ABC. And I think they were presenting the Paulette Cooper story. And I remember very, very vividly hearing she was coming out or she had left. And I couldn't understand if you left a religion, why they would harass you, why they would fill up your mailbox with snakes, why would they attack you? It just, that always stuck with me with them. And then to see, the stories that particularly with all, the people who have been in the RPF and the things that have happened and all the damages. And I'm just like, how can you not support, getting away from abuses? And again, if you're going to have, it's not just freedom of religion, but maybe freedom from religion in this country. And that's what's gotten me. And unfortunately, I would say, I have given money to some of the wrong people, but, I learned after the big a bust up that I kind of, backed away from a lot of the people who were attacking others. And it seemed like it was becoming just like I listened to one where it's just a money grab. And unfortunately, what are they doing for anybody?
Yeah.
And then, I see Lara's here. Hi, Lara. I always loved her stuff. And, particularly the Headleys, my God, when do they sleep?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, not as you, this is just me saying this, Alex, how sad it was that in the last few months that Mike Rinder had what he had to do to defend himself. And, I'll get upset if I get into it, just as how in the last few months that you have to keep making these statements just to clear your own name and stand up for all the work you've done. And, do we say, do people change? Are we going to allow people to change, or are we going to keep judging them by the same? It's people's actions and behaviors that dictate what they are. So this is what you can see. Very upset seeing, I don't like seeing people treated like this and all the gaslighting. And like I said, what you do, my bucket list is to come stand by you, Alex, at one of your marches. Hopefully they'll let you still do them. So
we can hope.
God.
Yeah.
But we're going through this here. People are standing up, like standing out in front of a Tesla dealership every week now. And so, and they're, now they're arresting judges for harboring illegal aliens, supposedly now.
And I think
that's very scary.
The tricky thing is with Scientology is the ties to, and I don't want to make this political. I'm also aware there's someone waiting in the waiting room. I can see you. Yeah. I'll bring you on very shortly if you don't mind waiting just a few minutes.
I know Linda's just so scintillating. I can't stand it. I know.
No, I don't want to rush you at all. I just want to make sure the person knows that we'll get to them in a second. But for me, it's like
sorry.
No, it's fine. For me, I'm very aware that. And I don't want to turn this political, but
that's okay.
Mike Rinder, before he passed away, made it very clear that there is no chance that Scientology will have their tax exempt status revoked in the US during the Trump administration because of the close ties to the Trump administration and Scientology. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is very close to Scientology.
Absolutely correct, Alex.
Chris Duggan, who was the largest individual donor to the Trump campaign, is a Scientologist. Grant Cardone and so on.
Right.
So we have this really awful situation, but how do you fix that, right? And I don't think it's a political issue. It's not about being a Trump supporter or not. It's about recognizing what Scientology is and trying to invigorate people on both sides to deal with this issue. And that's what I'm doing in the UK at the moment. It's like, it kind of doesn't really matter whether you have a left-wing or a right-wing government. What matters is getting them both to understand that Scientology is an organization that harms people. And actually, you can get cross-party support. It doesn't matter who's in government, as long as the person who's in government makes some change. And that's the difficulty when you have a government in power that is supported by Scientology. How do you get them to realize what it actually is? And so it's difficult. But, before Mike passed away, I think it was about 2-3 days before he passed away, I had a video call with him and we were talking, and I promised him that I would carry on flying the flag here in the UK on his behalf. And I showed him something I've been working on, and he was really pleased to see that. And I said, look, all I can do is, I said, look, you have started this and you've laid the groundwork, and now I will carry on doing that in the UK as much as I can. So, I'm not fighting Scientology in honor of Mike. I'm doing it because that's what I want to do and that's what I feel is right. But then justified and promoted by the fact that I'm doing it because I made a promise to him.
Yeah, and you're honoring his memory. Look at it that way. Let me say this Britishy for you. He'd be right chuffed if he saw the advert in the tube. You know it. So I was sitting it, and in my language, I was felling for you. That's Yiddish for being very enthused and all that. And and when I saw the billboards, but to put it in London and is it at the Tottenham stop
Tottenham
there.
Court Road. Yeah.
Oh my God, how perfect. So, that's like, what do they do? Get on like this.
I know. Yeah.
So it's just perfect.
Yeah. And what I love most about it is the fact that we know that OSA celebrate when suppressor people pass away, right? We know that Miscavige pops open the champagne, and that horrified me. To know that when Mike passed away, they were like celebrating. So what a great way of getting back at them. It's like, no, Mike's still fighting. He's not with us, but he's
on
there on the
Target
billboards
too.
in LA. And
Yeah,
he's there
he's
in
on Target
London.
too. He's got this made. Yeah. See, I learned the jingo. Let me say, I read the gossip columns a lot, and I comment about it because that's where a lot of the things you hear, like Tom Cruise being mentioned. And one of the columnists was saying that he had offered help to Val Kilmer with his cancer. And I'm not saying which one because I went in an anonymous way, and I said there is no way that Tom Cruise went and offered cancer help, or he would have helped out, Kirsty. He would have helped out John Travolta's wife. Come on. Yeah. So, and if Osa's here, hi, I'm in Hollywood, Florida. Exactly. Should I drive up to Clearwater and say, hey?
Well, Linda, look, I'm very conscious of someone else waiting, so I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much for letting me talk on and on. Be well. Enjoy your 30s. The 60s, not so great. I'm telling you, not so great. But the 30s, the next decade, Alex, kick what and take names, as we say over here. And just delighted for all your successes, even though sometimes they want to break down your door. It's just take it as a compliment. Unfortunately, a little twisted. Yeah. But be well. Hello to everyone in the chat. Nice to see everyone. And I'll get out of here and let everybody else jabber like me. Okay, be well. Happy birthday. Hello to your family.
Thank you
so much. Take it easy. Strength to strength, as we say.
Yeah, we're in the same community. Thank you so much, Linda.
Of course. All right, I'm out.
All right, and next up we have also, before we jump into the next guest, if you guys want to join in this, I have pinned to the top the link. Please feel free to jump in to StreamYard. Here is the link again. I want to invite people. Laura FM's here in house. Thank you so much. Laura, jump in the live chat. Why not? Next up we have Janelle. Coffee first. I want to invite people. Laura FM's here in house. Thank you so much. Laura Echo. Live stream. Yeah. Next up, we have Janelle. Coffee first. I want to invite people. Laura FM's here in house. Thank you so much. Laura Echo.
How do I turn off the StreamYard? Can I close it?
Close the YouTube link.
Thank you so much. Laura Echo.
How do
Okay, Janelle, you've muted your microphone, so I can't hear you now. But if you and now Janelle's gone. We tried. Janelle, if you're still watching, click on the StreamYard link, but you need to close the YouTube tab where you had the video playing. Otherwise, we can hear you, hear me and you in the background. In the meantime, let's have a look at some of these comments. We have Necessary Trouble. Happy 30th birthday, Alex. Thank you so much. Sue Denim is here saying, Lara with all the love hearts. You are a spring chicken. Happy birthday, Alex. Bok Buddy, thank you so much. Linda here, before she jumped in, said, hey, Lara, need to watch your vlog with Mark Bunker. Thank you so much. All right, Janelle, you're back.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh my God.
All right. Well, look, so you've closed, you can't hear me at all. There's no volume. Okay. Well, hopefully you can figure it out in the meantime and you can come back and join us. Hopefully, fingers crossed. In the meantime, if you want to join, please jump in the live stream. I've added the StreamYard link. Bok Buddy is here saying 30 is nothing to fear. The aches begin at 50 for me. I'm now 60, but still 20s in my head. Bok Buddy, thank you so much. The aches and pains have already begun, I can assure you. Mary Kay London is here. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Linda P. Golan, who was just on here with us, said, I hope everyone sees Mark's tribute to Mike Rinder. Yes. Bok Buddy, you beat me by 2 days. I'm the 28th. Oh, no way. Well, happy birthday for the day after tomorrow. And once again, Laura, I brought this up earlier, but I just want to say thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. I am going through all these. There's a lot of comments. It's me, Vanessa B. says, happy birthday. You've achieved so much in your fight against the abuse of Scientology, all while you're still in your 20s. I'm sure you will continue to do great things in your 30s. Yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about that, I think that's a good opportunity to bring up. Let's review what's happened in the last year. So this time last year, April 26th, 2024, when I was turning 29, I did a review. Hold on, Janelle is back. Let's try one more time. Janelle, can you hear us?
Here.
You can't hear. If you go, okay.
Why can't I hear?
All right, let's get yourself sorted. In the meantime, so last year on my birthday, I talked about the Charlie Hebdo article. So it was just after the opening of the Paris Ideal organization, and Charlie Hebdo, which is one of the largest publications in France, labeled me a Scientology slayer. And I was talking this time last year about, you know, the interesting aspects of that. Since then, I think we have seen the biggest year so far of me as an activist against Scientology. I feel like in the last 365 days, I've really found my niche. I've put in the footwork, the groundwork. I found my feet, and I really feel like I've made more impact in the last year than I have in the last 2 years. I mean, I started my channel in January 2023. So we're 2 years into this and a couple of months. The first year was very much finding my feet, giving people a platform to share their stories, but not really being an activist. And then the IAS event happened, and then I became an activist. And then the first year of being an activist, so 2023 October until October 2024, was very much like figuring out how I want to do this. And now I feel like I really know where my place is in the ex-Scientology world. And I feel like I've made a lot of progress in the last year. So let's have a little look at the highlights of the last year. So 11 months ago, so May 2024, I visited Los Angeles. I was there for a short period of time. I kept it massively under wraps. I flew to LA. I was there for a few days, and then I went to Vegas for a couple of days. I went to Portland for a few days and back to LA. I've been working on this huge project, which I still can't talk about too much. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what I've been working on, and that is very much still in the process of being worked on. But a year ago, I shared this little teaser, which I hope gives you an idea of what I've been working on over the last year. This is a teaser of some of the footage that I filmed when I was in California. But just hold back a little bit because we want to try and lose her. It's totally following us. Oh, are we...
You're trespassing. You need to leave.
Is it possible to have a look
You're
around?
trespassing. You need to leave.
So, just a little teaser to be continued. When I was in LA, I went to the Gold Base. I went to the CST base, which is where Shelley Miscavige is supposedly being held. I poked the bear. Scientology weren't happy about it. And I've got so much more to share about why I was there, what I was doing. But that's a little teaser I released a year ago. And I just wanted to remind you all that project is still ongoing, and I cannot wait to share more with you. And then we had the IES protest, and I put this little teaser out. Again, the project is linked, but here's what I shared.
Hip, hip, cheerio! Scientology's got to go! Hip, hip, cheerio! Scientology's got to go! The abuse has to stop! The abuse has to stop!
Men stämningen är god. De håller modet uppe, de här demonstranterna. De har marscherat tidigare idag, så de kommer ställa sig.
Hip, hip, cheerio! Scientology's got to go! Hip, hip, cheerio! Scientology's got to go! Hip, hip, cheerio! The abuse has to stop!
The one pushing him into the road, mate.
Yeah. Can he be gotten off our property?
The abuse has to stop!
This is not touch me. Please don't. I have a right to touch you on the property. I'm not on the property.
The abuse has to stop!
There is human trafficking occurring on that property at St. Hill at this very moment, and it will continue until government agencies step in to stop it. Sea Organization, members of Scientology, are victims of human trafficking. They are being held in circumstances where they are cut off from the outside world. These people are right there at St. Hill right now.
There we go. And it is time for change. Nothing about that video has been lessened, has been changed. The message stays the same. Those two videos from my time in LA and from the protesting here in the UK, they're all part of a wider project. What you see here on YouTube is just the tip of the iceberg of what I'm working on behind the scenes. And I just wanted to show those once again to remind you all that I am working as much as I can, pretty much full time behind the scenes, to really, really challenge the abusive practices of the Church of Scientology. And that doesn't change. And it hasn't changed. I haven't put out edited videos like this for a while. I clicked the wrong button, sorry. I haven't put out edited videos like this or clips for a while because it's been full on, right? If we look at the last year, for example, we had the LA trip. We had my first Stand League article. Stand League is Scientologists taking action against discrimination. So it should be STAD, not stand. But anyway, I first appeared on their radar and subsequently had 10,000 tweets attacking me in all sorts of various forms from Scientology's Office of Special Affairs. In the last year, I hit 1 million views on my channel. When I joined YouTube, I wanted to do what I could to give a platform to people to share their stories and do what I can to be an activist. And never in a million years would I think that 1 million people would be interested in watching what I've got to say. But we hit that landmark. It's huge. We had the protest in Croydon where a Scientologist threatened to sue me. And I said, bring it on. We had, obviously, the very sad loss of Mike Rinder, which was a huge moment in the ex-Scientology world. Mike Rinder is someone who made great strides in the movement towards helping people escape and leave. 2 Emmy Awards, Scientology and the Aftermath with Leah Remini. He is someone that came out of Scientology and spent the remaining years of his life doing what he could to try and support people, to raise the alarm, and to say something's going on here we should look into. I met with a member of parliament. I had a meeting in Westminster that I talked about, trying to champion this change in the law around coercive control that is needed. We have the PSPO situation. Scientology filed for a ban on protesting outside St. Hill, and that has been a very, very lengthy project over the last year of meetings with the council, meetings with different people here and there, and making our case. And it's something that can only be appealed in the High Court if it is implemented. And that's very much still ongoing. We also lost Neville Chamberlain, who was at one time L. Ron Hubbard's own personal auditor. Neville Chamberlain was a very well respected and senior Scientologist here in the UK, and I am very privileged to have been able to call him a friend. And his wife Danielle is still a friend to this day, and it was very sad to lose Neville. And that's something I think should have been reported more. We had the planning situation with St. Hill. So with the IES event that happens every year, they put up this big tent in the garden of St. Hill, and the planning authority came in and said, you can't put a building of that size up in your garden without permission. And they did an investigation and gave Scientology a notice, planning. What was I can't remember the exact term for it, but it was something like planning contravention notice, right? You are breaching planning rules and you need to not do that again. So all of this stuff lays the groundwork for what's going to happen in the coming year. Before I carry on, we have a guest. Laura FM. Laura.
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me? There's a delay. You've gone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yes, hi.
Hi. Thanks for joining.
I was like, I'm going to jump in. Just look at this beautiful sunshine
We
coming
can't
from
see you.
California.
Your camera's frozen.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday from Cali, son.
I'm so jealous. The weather in California always is way better than here in London.
Well, that's a fact, period. But it was raining this morning, actually. You can kind of still see some of those clouds.
Well, we can't see because your camera's frozen.
Oh, great. Lovely. Okay. Excellent. Well, happy birthday. I'm going to do a little beach stream out here, but I just want to say happy birthday to you for sure. Happy birthday. And I can't believe you're not 50 yet. That's such bullshit.
Thank you, Laura.
Almost 40 and I'm like, what? I thought Alex was my age. This is BS.
No, I'm the youngest one. Like literally. But this is the thing. The power of collaboration is so important, right? And this is what I love about you jumping on here. Thank you so much. It's like the more we work together as a group, the more we succeed, right?
Yep, of course. And it's also like it's unnecessary to bring other people's upsets, whatever into the mission. There's always going to be upsets. There's always going to be disagreements. There's always going to be stuff. So I find that the people who are bringing that in, I have no interest in being around or talking to or collaborating with. So if you're on a good mission and you're on a good purpose and people are talking shit about you behind your back and you're doing the good job, trust me, I ain't going anywhere. You got my back and support full time. And the people doing that, you don't have my support and you will not be followed by me. So happy birthday, Alex. And thank you so much for all your work. You're fucking awesome. And you're literally our main dot out there in the UK, putting all the Scientology crap together. So we appreciate you so much.
Well, Laura, your camera's back on so we can see you now. But Laura, I want to tease this is for you and for everybody else watching. Obviously I'm making great strides here in the UK, but that doesn't mean I haven't forgotten the US. And all I will say is there is something I'm working on to do with the US and the tax exemption that will all be coming out very, very soon. And look, the more we work together, the more powerful we will be as a group. And, you know, IRS tax exemption in the US is the biggest thing, right? The more we
Yeah.
protest the IRS, the more we protest the US government. If we can get a meeting, right, even though, yes, Trump is in power, love him or hate him or whatever, if we can get him to realize that Scientology are creating a lot of issues, perhaps we can get their tax exempt status revoked. And so we just need to work together as much as we can.
100%, period. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I also think that there's a lot of ways that people have stuck ideas like, oh, Trump's the president, nothing's going to happen, Pam Bondi. I don't believe that. I feel like there's a way, especially with narcissistic people, where you can get them to change for their quote own benefit, but it actually benefits everybody. So I think there's ways to deal with certain people to make them do the right thing, whether that's in their character or not.
Exactly. And let's not forget, Trump relies heavily on the Christian vote, right? And I think if Christians realized that the original OT8 material was when L. Ron Hubbard said that he was the Antichrist and he was going to bring about the second coming and all of this stuff, I think he would lose all of those voters. So he needs to choose between the Scientology money or the Christian vote. And obviously he's going to go for the Christian vote.
Yeah, right. And also maybe remind him that he also said that Jesus was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Anyways, right? I mean, that may or may not be true. I cannot. I've never met Jesus. I don't know. I've only heard the garbage out of L. Ron Hubbard's mouth and the few beautiful people that I do have in my life that believe in Jesus. So I take the sides of what I hear, and I make my own choices.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the beauty of it. When you're in Scientology, you're not allowed to make your own choices, right?
Exactly. I'm like the pleasure of being able to even be able to be like, oh, I get to have this choice.
Yeah. And that's the thing with this community, right? And I don't want to make this into a big stream about other creators and so on, but it's like, look, you don't have to be 100% for one person or against the other. And for me, it's like, look, you can watch the streamers you like, not watch the ones you don't like, and get behind the ones you do and don't like. We're in this world where we can decide for ourselves who we want to support and who we don't want to support. In Scientology, we didn't have any of that, right? You have to believe
and we don't need and it's as simple as that. And we're all doing something really well, like good for the planet, literally. So I think just all of us doing it how we do it and not being affected by other people and being strong with who you are and learning and loving. Period.
Learning and loving
with you. Okay, I gotta run inside, but I was like, I'm gonna run out and say happy birthday to Alex really quick.
Thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Love you. See you soon. Ciao. Bye.
All right, and let's try third time lucky. Janelle.
Here's hoping. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, nothing like embarrassing yourself in front of God knows how many people.
We're finally here.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I was so excited that I ran into my study and I did it on the on a browser rather than through the YouTube app. Not a good idea. I don't suggest trying that.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad we finally got here. How's it going?
Thank you for being so patient. I feel like such an idiot. I'm good. It's so nice to actually be able to say to you face to face, Alex. I'm going to get emotional. God, Laura just had me in tears. Just reminiscing on how you've partnered with such a great community of people. Yeah, just love the work that you do. Love the way you frame everything. I am always astounded when you are confronted with God knows what, attacks, and even face to face when you're at the protests, you maintain such a level of calm and clarity of message. It never gets diluted with anger or frustration. I'm so impressed with you. And that's why Laura was saying that you'd make such a good politician. But I say, don't waste it in politics. Be an advocate, just like what you're doing. It's
Yeah.
fabulous. And you're still getting to influence politics because you did get to meet with Parliament, you know? So yeah, just super, super proud to be standing behind you and doing what I can to support what you guys do.
Thank you. I think it is definitely difficult. And this is okay. I'm going to give Scientology credit here, right? Because I kid you not, standing in a meeting with a member of parliament or a meeting with like the council or whatever, and I know they're being paid off by Scientology because I know they've gone to Scientology events, they've accepted a £50,000 check, blah, blah, blah. Like standing there and being confronted with all this stuff, and then also having the head of OSA in the UK sitting next to me at the same time. Like the pressure is, it's hard to explain. It's really hard to keep your cool in that moment. And this is where I'm going to give Scientology credit, is spending hours and hours of keeping your TRs in, right? Of like, you know, try and suppress the emotion and get your point across. And look, I agree that it's not the best to suppress your emotions all of the time, like in Scientology, but in certain moments like that, it's actually really useful to keep your calm and say, no, look, this is my message. I don't care about the religious so-called beliefs. I care about the abuse. And if you don't want to be the politician that says ban Scientology, that's fine. I'm just asking for you to look at the way they're behaving, and it's a step in the right direction. But it's really hard to like not get really emotional because there are so many stories of people being physically abused, you know, beaten and worse things at St. Hill. And I feel the pressure standing there and the weight on my shoulders being like, I'm the one representing all of those people's views. So it's hard not to get emotional. But actually by presenting it in a thought out way, I think it gets through to people. And that's what I'm going to try and carry on doing, I suppose.
Yeah, it definitely is a stronger message than one fueled with, you know, heavy emotion and all the rest. Yeah, it makes your message much stronger than the noise coming from the other side. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you still, this is a question I've always wanted to ask you. Do you have people that are still in Scientology that are either family members or people really close to you?
Yeah. So my family weren't in Scientology, luckily, because I joined as a teenager and there was a very close line between. So I'd signed my SEAL contract and was about to move to Florida and would have had to have disconnected from my mum and so on. So my family weren't in Scientology, luckily, but absolutely I still have friends that are in. And every time I protest outside London Org, I find it really difficult because I see all these people that I used to be friends with that are now no longer able to see me. And you can see the cognitive dissonance, like the disconnect in their mind, because they look at me and they know that I'm not an SP. In Scientology, they say an SP is this, that, and the other, and they know me as a person, but they've been told by OSA I'm an SP. And you can see the kind of confusion in that, like, I'm not allowed to speak to you, but I know you're a good person, right? And that's kind of, it's really heartbreaking to see that. And for me, that's hard, but it also just amplifies how important it is to speak on behalf of people whose family members are still in, because that's hard for me. I can't imagine what it's like for Lara or other people who have got, you know, dads or mums or brothers or sisters who are in that have completely disconnected. Like it just fuels that in me to fight even harder, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got a cousin who's been a Scientologist, my God, since I was a teenager. And we won't talk about how old I am, really long time. And I just remember always, all throughout, because my grandmother had a lot of like investment money, and she was always asking grandma for money. And then when my grandmother passed, and then the aunt and uncles, so my mom and her brother died, then all the money came to all of us, including my cousin. We all owned some property, and she was always trying to find ways to cash up because it was a building, you know, wanting to get the cash. And I know what she was spending that money on. I know. In fact, she even sold her house and moved into a trailer and moved to
Yeah.
Texas because I'm sure she was cashing up. Yeah, it's just sad. It just made me so sad.
This is the thing, is like in science, and this is what I really, really want to get across to people. It doesn't matter whether you're second generation, first generation, third, whatever. Like in Scientology, you believe that this is the only way you're going to help humanity. So money kind of doesn't matter, right? If you have, like, for example, people would come to me and say, oh, could you get a credit card? Well, yeah, I could, but I don't want to. So yeah, but think about it. You could get a credit card and you could spend £1,000 on your basics or this course or whatever, and that is going to change the world. So who cares if you get into a little bit of debt, right? Because yeah, you'll just earn more and you can just wipe that off. You can pay it off, whatever. Like, who cares about money? We're talking about your spiritual freedom here.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can see, for me, as soon as I turned 18, I had a flag representative on the phone saying, cool, here's how you apply for your first credit card. And here's how you use that money to buy your basic books and lectures. Right. And you think, okay, cool. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll spend £2,000 of my money that I don't have, because you're buying freedom. Right. And it's like one of those things you just need to understand is like, it's just so insidious, right? And if you're, as me as a salesperson, as a reg, you would sit someone down and, for example, someone would walk in to the church and say, hey, what's this Scientology thing? I've heard about it, whatever. And I take them on a tour and you sit them down and go, cool, so here's your results to your personality test and here's what's wrong with you. And we're going to sell you a book for £13. I don't really have the money right now because I'm a student. Okay, well, how much money do you have in your bank account?
Oh, wow.
Like £100. Okay, well, how much is it going to cost you to get to and from university every day for this week? Okay, like £10. Okay, so that leaves you with like £15 spare. All right, so how about you give us that £15 and you pay us the other £15 next week? Like, it's all about manipulating the money to work for you, because what does it matter if you're a bit in debt? We're helping you as a spiritual being.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that's a lot, right?
That is a lot. And people are in such a vulnerable state that that starts to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, it was so nice. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
I was just going to say, like, when you're desperate, right?
Yeah.
You'll pay for anything, right? And we used to say, okay, well, do your family have like emergency resources? Like, say you were to suddenly get hit by a bus tomorrow and you'd have to pay like emergency medical fees. Like, your family have emergency funds, right? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, you're not going to get hit by a bus tomorrow, so let's use that and make you a better being spiritually. Right?
God.
It's disgusting, but that's the way you feel in Scientology. You think you're helping these people, right? And so the more I can do to try and shine a light on it and go, look, this is how they operate, but not out of malice. Like, they're not doing it because they want to manipulate you, but they are manipulating you and they don't realize that's what they're doing. And that just makes it even harder, I think.
Yeah, because they've been manipulated too. So there's a little bit of empathy for the fact that they've been doofed,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But, do you know what brought you to this community then? You said you had a cousin that's an Scientologist.
Yeah. And so I've always, all through the years, I've always been listening, watching, and in, back in the, actually, my mom had a Dianetics book. I actually was watching, I think it was Claire and Mark. I was watching one of the things and I don't know, I just had this like, oh my God, my mom had that book on her shelf. And I remember reading it and, it sounded good. It's a self-help book. It's how to be a better person and all of that. So I didn't connect that with Scientology until I saw you guys doing your podcasts and things. But it was listening out all through the 80s because of my cousin. And then I heard stories about Tom Cruise. And then I started, because I was fascinated with him, I started following that. And then it was like, hang on, like, how come, his wives aren't talking about it. Oh, that's kind of weird. And just the little inklings along the years, and then boom, I go into YouTube like Laura. I live in YouTube. I love listening and being educated, and and I came across all of you guys. Thankfully, I won't go into that whole other side of things, but yeah, really connecting in with what you guys are doing. And I was like, yeah, I need to know more about this. And then it's like, oh my God, I need to get behind this. So I don't donate a lot, but I donate when I can because I want to help fund what you guys are all doing.
But it's not about, like, I try and say this as much as I can. Like, it's not about money. Like, thank you for your donations, of course, like to the Aftermath and to the channel or whatever. But for me, it's like, actually, as a group, like thinking about this strategically, the most important thing, and I really mean this when I say this, the most important thing that people can do is like, share, subscribe, comment, because what we need here is a mass exodus of people who are putting pressure on government in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in Europe, to say, hey, this is a massive issue and you as government need to do something about it. And yes, money is great and it's helpful with the channel and it's helpful to help people get out and leave and all of that. But actually, writing a letter to your state representative or to your member of parliament or whatever goes so much further, and it costs you nothing because it's a numbers game. The number of conversations I've had with politicians that have said, look, we're into it. We get that it's an issue, but like, I'm not going to put my name behind that because where's the evidence that people really care about it? So the more people who are behind it, the more likely it is that we'll actually get something to be done about it. And that costs nothing, right? That's just a letter. That's an email, right?
Yeah. And it would be, I hadn't actually thought of that. This is the first time someone has said to me, you can write a letter to your politicians.
Yeah.
You should do a podcast, like a show on how to do that. What does that look like? What are the things that, and who do you, because I'm thinking now, my brain is ticking. I'm like, we're about to have a federal election. Like I'm thinking this is the time to be writing. Yeah, no, that's super helpful.
I like what's the worst that's gonna happen if you write to your state representative and say, hey, I know there aren't any Scientology orgs in our area, but I'm a local resident and you are elected to represent me, and I'm concerned about this issue. And I know there's no Scientology orgs, but I'm still concerned about it. What are you going to do about it? The worst that will happen.
I should Google. I don't know if I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I don't know. I should Google. I don't even know.
The worst that will happen is your MP will say, I'm not interested, thank you very much. But at least you've raised the thing. And the thing with Australia, okay, and this is great, right? Well, not great, but Scientology's whole UK operation is run through an Australian registered firm, right? So I was employed by a company called Church of Scientology Religious Education College Incorporated, COSRECI, which is an Australian registered non-profit, right?
Ooh.
Because Scientology don't have tax exemption in the UK. So they go through this loophole that's an Australian non-profit. So as an Australian taxpayer, you are paying the burden for Scientology's UK operations.
How is it a non-profit?
Right?
Oh, okay. You and I need to talk more about this.
It's registered in Australia as an overseas entity. So it's an Australian company that operates exclusively abroad, but they pay zero tax in Australia.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Right.
No, I do need to write a letter. Yeah, 100%.
Send me an email and I'll give you all the ins and outs.
I did send you an email because I'm coming to London.
Oh yes, I remember. Yes,
right?
yes. Okay.
Oh yes.
We'll talk more.
I will write as many emails as I need because that's insane. Not for profit.
Right.
Who establishes that? Who just sits down and decides that's actually? I need to look into that a bit further. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, and I want this message to get across to everybody that's watching this, is like people who are watching this saying, oh, I don't have any money, I can't donate. It's not about donations. Like, donations help because yes, StreamYard costs if I'm using the free version at the moment, but StreamYard costs if you pay for the pro subscription. I've got my blog and that has like hosting packages. Like, there are costs associated with being an activist, but what's more important is that we actually do the work. and that doesn't cost anything. So actually, if you don't have any money to donate to the Aftermath Foundation or to the channel or whatever, it doesn't matter. Write to your MP, write to your state rep, comment, share. The more people we have talking about this issue, the more likely it is we'll get a result. And that's way more effective than any financial contribution. So
yeah, 100%. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. And please email me back. I'd love to catch up for
yes,
coffee and talk more.
I love it. Thank you so much, Janelle. I really appreciate it. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you. And nice to see everybody who has jumped in. And yeah, love your community, Alex. Amazing people. Really love
I love
them.
it. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Bye.
Alrighty. So it's so nice to meet you guys. I love it. Before we wrap up here, I'm going to carry on with this year in review. We were talking about the planning. We were talking about what's been going on over the last year. There's a couple more points that will wrap up on what's happened in the last year. Finally, we have the bush, right, outside St. Hill. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, opposite the entrance to St. Hill Manor, they planted a bush which was there to obstruct protesters, to stop them standing. And that is still another ongoing issue that we've been debating with the council for the last 6 months to a year. I think the most prolific things that we've got to over the last year, T is saying I can come on in 10. All right, we'll see if we can get there in 10. I've got a couple of things on my list to cover. If you get here before we wrap up, great. The biggest achievements I think I've had over the last year are when it comes to press. Now, many of you know I work in marketing outside of my Scientology activism. I have 2 jobs. I work at music festivals and venues, looking after the artists and all of that backstage. And the other job, I work in marketing, particularly in the architecture and design world, advising big corporates on their marketing strategy. Now, my degree is fashion promotion, so marketing in the fashion world, and I'm trying to use as much of those skills as I possibly can as an activist. And one of the things that I learned during my degree and my 10 years of experience is the power of PR. If you can get press behind you, you can make great things happen. So press is super, super important, especially on this issue, when what we're trying to do is engage and activate a huge audience of people. We're trying to educate the world on why they should care about Scientology. So press is really important to that. Even if you were to have a YouTube channel with 250,000 subscribers and 10 million, 20 million, 100 million views, doesn't matter. One article in the Daily Mail will get more views than all of your videos combined. And one prime example to that is this post that we put on Reddit just the other day. So with these billboards in London, I posted on the London Reddit, ex-Scientologists hit back with billboards of their own at Tottenham Court Road. I posted a picture of the billboards. And if you look, this was only 2 days ago, right? 273,000 views. 250,000 people looked at this post. Yes, the engagement was much less, 83 comments and 3,100 likes. But the point is, 250,000 people saw this picture and saw this post. Now, when you take into consideration press, an article in The Guardian, The Daily Mail, The Times, they have their own readerships, right? We are talking literally millions of people. Now, not every single one of them is going to feel empowered or emboldened to take action. But the point is, making people aware there are people who care about this issue. It's not just a crazy American cult. It is an abusive, harmful organization. And we need the support of people who've never been in Scientology to make change. So the more people, the more eyes we can get on this, the better. And that's why press is so important. The tabloids are very quick and easy to jump on the story and be like, oh, Tom Cruise is like wooing this person, or, you know, John Travolta is like this celeb gossip and blah, 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 and they're Scientologists. And yes, it's great. It gets eyes on the idea of Scientology. But what we really need to do is change their opinion on it so they realize it's not just they're crazy and believe in weird things. No, this is an organization that are harming humans, that are abusing people, and they have been doing it for decades. So the more press we can get, the better relationships we can build with journalists and so on, the better, because the more people there are fighting our cause on our behalf. So over the last year, I've been really, really focusing on that, trying to bring in my marketing expertise and knowledge into how can I use the skill set that I have to my advantage and to the community's advantage to really up the game, you know, up the level a bit. So in the last year, we had the Fair Game article in The Observer, which was a double-page expose about how Scientology have been harassing me and other people who've joined protests and trying to interfere with our work lives and trying to send 10,000 tweets trying to attack us and so on. We had an article in the Daily Mail, which the headline was "The Brutal World of British Ex-Scientology." Sorry, the brutal world of British Scientology, right? Huge article in Daily Mail, is the most read news media website in the world, right? Talking about the brutal world of British Scientology. It's not an article about Tom Cruise or about the celebrity gossip and the ins and outs of who's dating who. The brutal world of British Scientology was the title. Finally, we're starting to see a shift in perception with these journalists talking about Scientology as a practice itself, not just something that the stars belong to. We had the Times article earlier this week on Monday, right? The Times is the most well-respected newspaper in the country, talking about the fact that we have our billboards up and the Aftermath Foundation are doing great work here in the UK as well. All of this, for me, is huge, what's the word? Not just anticipation, but it's hugely exciting because it says to me that things are changing and things are moving and moving in the right direction. I think I've made more strides in the right direction in the last year as an activist than I did when I was 29. So now I'm turning 30 and I feel like I've finally found my feet, and who knows what's going to happen in the year to come. But I can be sure in saying I'm only just getting started. Let's have a look at, I've got so many starred comments. So let's run through these. Rumble Rumby says, happy so long 20s, Alex. Thank you so much. Witness says, hey, Alex, great to see you. Happy birthday, Alex, from the USA. Thank you. Once a Witness, Vernon says, hello, Apostate Alex. Hello. Hans Christian Schwartz says, how lucky am I? Sleepless in Germany. Good morning. Thank you. Guten Abend or good Morgen, as es this im Deutschland neu. Helen says, wishing you a very happy birthday. Thank you so much. MD Media says, happy birthday. Thank you. A couple of comments here. Once a Witness, Vernon says, comment, Alex, I'm turning 50 this year. Wow. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday. Nifty 50, as we would say here. Question, did you ever work for OSA? No, I did not work for OSA. I was offered a position in the Department of Special Affairs as their legal officer. And as soon as I said, yeah, that sounds good, I'd love to get some legal experience because I want to be a lawyer. So I'd love to get some experience working in law. Here's my signature. Sign me up. The next day, I was moved into the sales division. So no, I was not working for OSA. But I very nearly almost did. Hans Christian Schwartz says, it's a lot of work for what you do. I really respect you for that. That's one thing I think I bring to the table as an activist is persistence. And it's all very well and good, writing to your MP or putting a statement out on social media. Fantastic. Great. Do that. Absolutely. But being persistent with it is what Scientology cannot do anything to obstruct or change. There is nothing they can do to stop me from writing a follow-up email every month or saying, hey, I emailed you 6 weeks ago asking what you're doing about the abuse in Scientology. What are you going to do about it? And following that up every 6 weeks, that persistence is really, really important, I think. T.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Hooray! How are you, my darling?
How's it going? Thank you.
I'm good. I've still got wet hair. I haven't been awake very long. I read the text message from the police officer wrong. It's 9 p.m., not 9 a.m. So I can woo now. So yeah, and come say happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And also, I want to say, anyone watching this, if you're not already subscribed to T per Scientology Audit, please go and subscribe to her channel. You're doing amazing work down under.
Thank you. I just went to Adelaide. Did you see my thing? I went to the Ideal Org building and looked through the windows and saw some ominous looking boxes. So check that out if you want to, guys. It was good fun. Very quick visit.
The official headquarters of the Church of Scientology UK.
Yes. I know. I was like screaming at the screen when you were telling. Oh, sorry, I forgot her name already. Coffee first, always. Is it?
Yeah.
Janelle, that's it. Janelle. Yeah, we need to hook up. Definitely. Yeah, I come to Melbourne and protest every now and then. But yes, yay, you're 30. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Isn't that scary?
And what a professional and mature 30-year-old you are, or in your 20s, and you know, you didn't mention our protest.
CCHR. That was
CCHR. You forgot. That was great. That's when I first met you. Yeah, we had a great time. Yeah. And if I was over there, we could have a couple of beers together. And but I will see you later on in the year for sure, 100%.
We're gonna miss you on Monday.
I know. I wish I could be there. I really do. But I just hope you're having the. So is this like? What's the time there now? Are you doing like a midnight? It's midnight. It's my birthday thing, or?
Yeah, I'm going to bed as soon as this finishes.
Yeah. You're a bit of a night owl, though, aren't you?
No, it's been good fun. But so T, what is it that brought you? Because I don't think I've ever asked you this. What is it that brought you to this world? Like, because there's all of the world of ex-Scientologists and so on, and like a lot of people see the trauma and the abuse, and they go, "Oh, I relate to that," and whatever. Like, I don't think I've ever asked you, like, how did you come into it? Were you just like searching stuff on YouTube and you came across something, or?
I think you did when you did. I did an interview with you, but I can't remember what I said. But basically, yes, I'm a trauma survivor, but I've been studying cults and Scientology specifically for the last sort of 10 years. Kind of got found out about it through Jenna's book. What was that? That must have been about 15 years ago. And just have kind of been like this morbid curiosity. Because I know there are bigger cults, but for me, it's the mind control and how hard it is, how hard it can be to deprogram from it, you know, and that kind of really interests me because I have a lot of interest in human behavior and psychology and stuff like that. And just trying to dissect that. But also just, I've always had a need to kind of help people or, you know, my thing is, my niche is I like to try and get to the smaller countries that people don't talk about. I recently have been speaking to someone from Taiwan who's actually like left recently and just devastated, just completely ruined their life, you know, like mentally. They're still in a really bad mental state. And of course, the African countries and stuff that I've covered, because here down under, there's not, like you were saying, the media reached out to so many people in the media, and I think they have some kind of block on them. There's been legal threats towards Brian Seymour, as far as I know. That's what I figured out. Since the whole Black Ops thing, which got taken down, and which I may or may not have a copy of. I'm wondering if I can put that up, actually, if I put it up as an educational documentary about a documentary, you know? Might have to do that. But yeah, I just it's got to be done. Yeah, I just want to try and stop people going in and let people know that who might be under the radar and that are stuck in there, that there is help available. You can rebuild your life. I'm now a volunteer for the Aftermath Foundation, and yeah, I would just say anything I can do to help or just get the word.
I think that's the beauty of this community is like, you know, I can only do so much fighting here in the UK and in Europe and so on. And obviously I support everyone else, but there's only so much you can do as a person. But that's the beauty of this community is the more we work together and collaborate, the easier it becomes. And if we then approach Scientology and we're like, hey, look, I'm here in the UK. T is there in Perth, right? You have the Aftermath Foundation all over the US. We have Miriam up in Denmark, right? Scientology up north. Like suddenly they realize they're up against a group, a community of people who have worldwide support. It becomes a lot harder for them to fight that because you can't stop us because we're all here helping each other, doing what we can, right?
Yeah, and it's not just disgruntled ex-members, as the church likes to say. You know, it's not. It's a heap of people that have never been in, the never-ins, or whatever you want to call us, that are just genuine people that can see that this is wrong. You know, it's wrong. It's not okay what's going on. But I speak out about other cults as well. Yeah, I'm very limited in what I can do. Due to
but we all are
craziness.
But we all are, and that's the thing is contributing as much as we can in the way that we can. And people contact me all the time, go, oh, I wish I could do more. And I'm like, no, what you're doing already is enough, right? People who are watching this and they're just commenting in the live chat, like just commenting. People email me and go, oh, all I can do is like comment in the live chat and give you a like. And I'm like, no, that's perfect. Like the more people that do that, the better. And other people come in and go, hey, Alex, I've organized this protest and I'm doing this. I'm like, fantastic. And other people go, oh, I've written to my MP and blah, blah. Fantastic. Like there isn't a right way or a wrong way. It's like we all contribute in our own way. The more people that do all of the things, right, the more elevated we become as a unit, right?
Exactly. And that's why I started speaking out. I mean, I'm slowly changing my name to A Voice Down Under because I have branched out to other cults and things like that, and you know, advocacy for children and things like that. So and I've totally lost what I was going to say. Oh shit, what was I saying?
We're talking about community and all coming in together.
Community and coming together and yeah, just starting to speak out. Oh yeah, because it's so quiet in the media, you know, and nothing going on here for years. I don't want them to think that we've forgotten about them, you know. So I've gone to Melbourne. I really wanted to go to Sydney. I couldn't raise the funds. It was too much. I had the shots done and it was just everyone's saying, T, when you get the shots, you need to relax. And I'm like, you don't understand. I have ADHD as well. So I'm like, I need to do things. But yeah, I am going to go to Sydney. There's 50% of the staff there are Taiwanese or Japanese, and we need more recent stories, more recent evidence, and just to see what operations are going on down there. I do believe that I know the Dundas building was the RPF, and I want to find out if it still is. I want to see what's going on there, you know, see what they're up to. They've got 3 buildings there. There's a lot to see. And I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And Miriam Francis, she's taken her channel down because she's concentrating on doing stuff behind the scenes and with the government and things like that. And she's doing some really good stuff. She did an excellent podcast with Let's Talk About Sects. If anyone wants to check that out, it's brilliant. And the lady before her as well is a very, very good podcast too. So I met up with her a couple of weeks ago. She's doing really, really well. And yeah, but she's still doing her thing behind the scenes and is fine to pop on every now and then if anybody wants to, you know, if anyone has anything that they want to collaborate on. But yeah, she's just doing really effective stuff.
That's the thing. Yeah. The more we chip in and help each other, the better, right?
Yeah. And we need more Aussies on board, you know, like.
Yeah. And also, just like, excuse my French, but like, fuck this mindset of you have to support this creator or be 100% behind them. It's like, no, like you can you can watch someone's videos and like what they've got to say, and
Yeah.
you can also watch someone's videos who doesn't agree with them and like what they've got to say. Like, we're not in a cult. You can agree with both people and you don't have to take sides. And that's what I hate, is the division in this
It's when
society, this
people,
community of like,
yeah,
no, you can be both at the same time, right?
yeah. It's when
We're
people
all here for the
pull
same
out of
reason.
stuff that you're doing because you have a different point of view.
Yeah.
It's like, can we just focus on what we're doing? You know, we're allowed to. It's, you know, I won't not be friends with someone because they support a different political party. Then again, I don't live in the US. I mean, it might be different there because it's just extreme, isn't it? But you know, people have their differences. But yeah, we have to focus on the end goal. And I love everyone. I just want everyone to get along, you know. I do, which is really silly. You're probably more mature than me, to be fair. Yeah, I just want to play nicely. Yeah, you are.
Well, T, stay where you are because I want to talk to you after the live stream finishes. If you've got a few minutes.
It's not scientific related, the phone call, by the way.
Okay, I'll give you a call.
But yeah.
Okay.
If anyone wants to question, I'll just tell you if you want. I'll just tell you.
I'll call you. As soon as we wrap this up, I'll give you a call.
Just because some people in the chat were asking, am I okay and stuff.
Yeah, go on. Of course,
yeah. So I opened a historical abuse case about a year ago. And so they're just calling me about that because another person came forward. So they're giving me an update on what's going on. Yeah, just very, very hard to get evidence because it was 23 years ago. Yeah, so we shall see. I might do a stream about it if people are interested. And the person who inspired me to do that was Miriam Francis. You know, she I thought, look at this warrior woman that's doing, you know, her historical abuse case. And I thought, if she can do it, you know, I can do it. Other people are doing it, you know? And that's the thing.
Find your power.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what's beautiful about this community as well. There are so many strong people, strong survivors, and just so much love, so much support. I've made some amazing friends from all around the world, and I'm forever grateful for that, you know? Yeah, and I can't wait for us hopefully to have a meet up later on this year. That would be fun. And I'm going to go to Scotland as well, and maybe Denmark, because I found out flights to Denmark are only like 60 quid, right?
From the UK, yeah.
Yeah. And I've got my hat on because I haven't done my roots, by the way, just in case anyone wanted to know.
I love it.
Look at the state of it. But I don't wear this hat anymore because I want people to take me seriously, you know?
Well,
anyway,
T,
it's
thank
your
you so
day.
much for joining. I'll give you a call as soon as this is over.
Yes, and when you wake up in the morning, make sure you go and do something to celebrate and eat lots of cake.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, T.
All right. Happy birthday.
Alrighty, so before we wrap up here, let's get through the last couple of these comments here that I've starred. Question: did you stay with Janice Gillum Grady in the US? I definitely went to visit her in Vegas. Yes, it was fantastic. Sue Denham, feel a documentary incoming. What can I say? No comment. Bo Beats says, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You stood up to bullies and signed Tool. If your 20s are any indication of what's in store for your dirty 30s, your haters are in trouble. Cheers. Yeah, this is one thing I will say to Scientology. If you haven't learned anything in the last year, it's that I am formidable, that I have put my foot down, that I am determined in my battle and in my fight, and I'm not going to give up. I'm now 30. I don't give a fuck. Let's carry on with these. Big boy Tron says, hey man, much love from Bristol. Thanks for everything you do. Very important to fight these damned cults. 30s are apparently the start of the best years of your life. Well, here's to hoping. Lottie's Love says, wow, you're only 30. It's amazing what you've done in your 20s. Thank you. Yes, and this is the warning, I suppose, to Scientology, is I am now in my 30s, which means I've got a renewed resilience and renewed lust for fighting for justice. Joe JRN says, happy birthday, Alex. Thank you. Kathy Scoggins says, awesome, Alex. Amy M says, we need help getting the US press interested in covering this, and I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can. If you are in the US and you're trying to get the press interested, drop me an email and I will do what I can to help. But look, guys, there's so many comments I haven't got round to. Hank Baum, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Linda P. Golan, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everybody who jumped in to speak to me in person. I really appreciate it. I don't do this very often, but it's nice to connect with you guys on a one-to-one level. So here, I'm now officially 30, and I'm fighting with every ounce of my being for justice and for everything I can do to be a voice for people whose voice has been taken away. If you want to support this cause, please donate to the Aftermath Foundation. If you want to support my channel and the work that I've been doing, please consider buying me a coffee with the link down below. But like I said, the most important thing, the best thing you can do to support this cause is share this, like this, comment, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. We are in for a very busy month. May is going to be one of the biggest months in my time as an ex-Scientologist activist. So stay tuned. Thank you so much, guys. That's me. My 20s are over and out.